Guys, welcome back to The Beautiful Truth. So for today's video I am bringing to you part 2 of my USA haul, and this one is probably my favourite because this one is my Sephora haul. I bought from both Sephora in store and Sephora online because some of the stuff I couldn't get in store, and never one to be defeated. I had to have it. There were a few items that did elude me though. I swear to God, I had my name down in 3 Sephoras for the Kat Von D Everlasting Liquid Lipstick in Lolita, and it was just sold out. And of course then on my second last day I get an email from Sephora.com saying it was back in stock, but it was going to be too late to order it. Anyway, I did buy quite a bit. Now I didn't do it all in one big haul. Because I was there for 5 weeks, I was kind of in and out of the shops. In my defense, I know there is hungry children out there in the world that for the price of a highlighter could be fed for a month, but I do feel guilty, so, and I'm aware there's quite a lot of makeup, but look, I suppose I don't drink, I don't smoke, so this is my guilty thing. I also need to stop justifying my purchases because I suppose I work hard, and yeah, anyway, stop waffling, Sinead. I just talk too much, like, seriously. Okay, so the way I'm going to do this, I'm going to break it up into brands and I'm going to quickly run through things. I'm not going to do as much of a detailed review as I normally would on camera because there is so much stuff I need to get through it. But anything I've already reviewed, I will link down below, and then keep an eye out for stuff because I will be reviewing all of this. So the first brand I am going to start with is probably one of my favorite brands, and that is Becca Cosmetics. And at the very, very top of my wish list going to the States was Jaclyn Hill's collaboration with Becca Cosmetics, and this is Champagne Pop Highlighter. Any of you that follow me on Snapchat will know I am quite literally obsessed with this, to the point that I actually went and bought 2 of them. Not 1, but 2. The reason for this being, for whatever reason, I have a hard time getting highlighter to show up on my skin, and this just really makes my skin glow. I think camera's picking it up there. I love this. It is limited edition, and that is why I bought the second one. I have a review done on this, which I will link down below, but you can only get this on Sephora.com, so I'm really sorry, but it does deliver through Ireland through Parcel Motel. All the details for that are in the post. The next item I bought was a recommendation from Cherry Sue doing the do, and it is the Becca Under Eye Brightening Corrector. Those of you that have followed the blog for a while will know that my dark circles are the absolute bane of my life. Sometimes they're fine, sometimes they are really bad. They're actually quite bad at the moment. But what this does basically is, this is a pink tone, it's a universal colour, it's a pinky toned brightener, and you put it on over your foundation but underneath your concealer in the dark parts of your eyes, and it's meant to brighten up the area and help eliminate dark circles. I'm not particularly blown away with it so far, but saying that, Florida is not the best place to try out products because the makeup just slides off your face. I am going to give this another good whack of a go before I review it, because so many people, when I put up a picture on Facebook, said that they really loved it and it really worked. So I think I need to keep going with this one. You can get this here. It's sold in Space NK on Grafton Street in Dundrum and on their online store. So the next brand that I did a little bit of damage with is Anastasia Beverly Hills. I am a fan of the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz, and I have never really tried much more from her. But again, another product top of my list was the Anastasia Beverly Hills Liquid Lipstick in Pure Hollywood. I mean, the world and its mother was talking about these liquid lipsticks on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, the whole lot, and I was like, yeah, I think I really need it. And in fact, I didn't think my life would be complete until I got this Pure Hollywood, and I have to be honest, it is absolutely beautiful. You can see it here. However, there is one drawback to it. I'm going to be real quick with this. Basically, when you apply it first, it is a little bit drying on your lips, but it is fine. But if you apply a second layer, it will kind of crumble off your lips. So I tend to just top it up with lip gloss rather than apply a second layer. But that being said, the first layer lasts for absolutely ages. There are other colours I want, in particular Dusty Rose, that wasn't available when I was over there. They were sold out. So I am going to make a purchase online. You can get it delivered to Ireland, but like with any US purchase, you need to watch out for customs. Last thing I want is my grumpy postman knocking at the door going, you owe me €50. I also had heard an awful lot about the Anastasia Beverly Hills eyeshadows, so I said I would try one, see how I go, and decide from there. So the first one I bought is this colour called Sienna, and it is kind of a red toned brown, and it is so beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. These are €12 each, or $12 each, sorry. But if you buy 4, they work out at $10 each, and you get this free palette. I think when you buy 8, you get a free palette too, and they work out cheaper again. As you can see, I have a little bit of a thing for warm toned neutrals, but I have to say, these are absolutely gorgeous. I would rate them up there with my Makeup Forever Artist shadows and my Makeup Geek shadows. But they wear well, they're long wearing. Like I have a few of them on my eyes there now. I think I have, what have I got? Burnt Matte Orange and Fawn on here. The colours actually that I got were Burnt Matte Orange, Fawn, Bengal and Copper Shimmer. And then Sienna, of course. If you are going over to the States, go into Macy's. They have a huge selection of colours. I'm actually raging that I didn't buy more, but I had bought so many eyeshadows. If you saw my Makeup Geek haul in the last video, you will understand why I had the guilt about buying a few more of these. One brand that I fell absolutely head over heels in love with when I was over there was Kat Von D. Now you can't get Kat Von D in Ireland, and I had heard so many good things about it. And in my head, I was like, right, I'll buy 1 or 2 things from it. And I really wanted, as I mentioned before, the Everlasting lipstick in Lolita. But the first 2 items I bought from the Kat Von D range were blind buys. And I'm really glad I did buy them because they are the Metal Crush eyeshadows. Yes, more eyeshadows. These are so gorgeous. I bought them in the colour Raw Power and Synergy, and they are particularly brilliant for blue and green eyes. When I put Raw Power on my eyes, I swear to God, my eyes are literally popping out of my head. They are so vibrant with this colour. Really makes blue eyes pop. Anyway, these are metallic eyeshadows, but they don't give off that kind of wet look. They're phenomenally pigmented. In fact, I don't think I have seen eyeshadows as pigmented as these before. They wear really well. They're long wearing. There's minimal creasing, a small bit of creasing on the eye, but nothing that a primer wouldn't fix. I think they were a little bit expensive for eyeshadows, that they were, I'm going to say $21 or $22 each. I know, it is scandalous. But yeah, I think there's a good few colours in the range, but some of them are a little bit mad. These are probably the most normal colours, but I highly recommend these. You might possibly be able to buy them on Amazon.com, because Amazon.com deliver to Ireland and calculate customs at checkout. So yeah, you might get them there, but if you're going over, put this on your Sephora wish list. You can only get these in Sephora. Right, my next product was the Kat Von D Lock-It Concealer. Now this is said to be a high coverage concealer that is good enough to cover tattoos. I got it in the colour Light 18. I found it a little bit hard picking the colour, and the girl in Sephora was brutal. She wanted nothing to do with me. The first few times I used this, I was like, this is rubbish. Like, I really thought it was rubbish. But I found that there's a little bit of a trick to applying this. You need to apply only the teeniest, tiniest amount and pat it down with your finger, your ring finger, and then set it quite quickly. If you use too much, it's just not going to work for you. Smallest amount gets you a fairly decent amount of coverage, and I have to say I'm quite enjoying this. I think it was again around the $22 mark, but this is worth looking into if you were going over there. Got 2 more things from Kat Von D, and in my defense, these were on my list, or one of them actually was on my list going over there, and it is the Kat Von D Tattoo Liner. but I bought the Kat Von D ink liner. What happened was, when I went into the shop, we were leaving like in 2 days, and I was like, right, it'd kind of been playing on my mind. A load of you had snapped me saying that I needed to get the tattoo liner and I couldn't come home without it, and that kind of, I was sitting at the side of the pool going, I'm going to regret this if I don't buy it. So I went up to Sephora in JCPenney's up by our house. When I went into the shop, I saw both the ink liner and the tattoo liner side by side, and I felt the ink liner would be better because it is a much thicker, stiffer nib. It's easier for doing a winged liner. But then I went home and I was like, but what if I'm missing out on something amazing? So I went back the next day and I bought the tattoo liner. So the difference between the two is, as I mentioned, this has a stiffer nib and gives a little bit more of a thicker line. This one here, the tattoo liner, has more of a finer nib, and it is a little bit more feathery and kind of brush-like going on. I will say I prefer the ink liner because it is much darker. The tattoo liner is a little bit watery and you kind of have to build up the colour. It leaves a few streaks as well. I'll hopefully, if I do a swatch here, you'll be able to see the difference between the two. They are $19, so with tax they work at about $20.50. But if you're going, I would recommend this ink liner because it is a little bit easier for a beginner. If you're more accomplished at your winged liner, well then the original tattoo is better. And both colours are the colour Trooper, which is a black. I had heard an awful lot about Sephora matte lipsticks, liquid lipsticks, and I didn't actually know which was which when I went in. Sephora have quite an awful lot of lip products, so I got a bit confused. Anyway, I went and I bought the Luster Matte Longwear lip colours, and I bought them in 2 colours. I bought this one first, and this one is called Fig Luster, and it's what I'm wearing today. I have got Soar lip liner on all over my lips, and then I put this lip luster on top of it, and I really like these. It is a bit of a darker shade than the Anastasia Beverly Hills, and they wear really well, and they're not as drying on your lips, and when you can keep reapplying colour to them and it won't crumble. And then, because I like the Fig Luster so much, I went back and I bought Mulberry Luster, and I was looking to buy more, but I didn't particularly like the other colours. And Mulberry Luster is kind of a berry toned, I'm really bad at describing colours, but it's a berry tone colour. I find this one is a little bit more in your face, and it is not one that I'm liking wearing at the moment because it's a little bit full on, but it will be one that I really like in the winter time and autumn time because it's much more of a kind of a vibrant autumnal colour. These were $16. They have, I think, about, I'm going to say maybe 12 shades, and these two in particular, Fig Luster and Mulberry Luster, are well worth picking up. Okay, I'm coming towards the end. I feel like I'm going through this really quickly because when I was editing my drugstore video, I was like, Sinead, shut up talking. I just spoke far too much, and I don't really want my video being too long. Those of you that have been reading the blog for a while will know that I am a huge Makeup Forever fan. The Makeup Forever Artist eyeshadows are probably my all-time favourite. It's kind of a tie between them and Makeup Geek eyeshadows. I have a review of the Artist shadows, which I will link down below. They are expensive, but holy God, they are phenomenal. Like, they're so good. So I had 2 items on my list because actually that is a good tip. When you're going over, Sephora can be very overwhelming. Whenever I go in for the first time, I'm always a bit like, oh, Jeannie, where do I look? What do I do? And each Sephora store actually stocks different stuff. They'll have the staples, but they won't always have like the same. Like, I was looking for OCC lip tars, and one had them and the other didn't. But go with a list because it is extremely overwhelming, and especially I know a lot of you will be going to New York. The Sephora on 5th Avenue is enormous. Like, it is phenomenally enormous. Anyway, first on my list was the Makeup Forever Bronze Fusion Bronzer. Jaclyn Hill had been raving about these. This is such a gorgeous bronzer. It's what I have on me today. I find it is really, really natural. It comes in two finishes, a matte finish and an iridescent finish. I got the iridescent because while it looks like it has a tiny, tiny bit of shimmer to it, when it goes onto the cheeks, it gives you more of a lit from within glow rather than shimmer. And I find it much more natural. I'm kind of gone off the real like makeup streaked down the side of your face. This you can get here in Ireland. I have a review of it which I will link down below. It is €35, an awful lot for a bronzer, but I really, really like it. One thing with it though is you need a very, very dense brush because it needs to pick up product. I use, excuse me, it's dirty, I use the Nima Wendy brush, but I think the new Nima Wendy brush is a little bit different to this one that I have. This was a press sample. I'll have to double check that out because I would recommend this if it wasn't changed, but I think it has because the one I bought again was much smaller. Next Makeup Forever buy was their new Ultra HD foundation. This has got 4K technology. Now I asked my husband, kind of feels weird saying that, I asked my husband what 4K technology was, and basically it's a step up from HD. While most of our tellies aren't 4K compatible, they are recording in 4K technology, and basically it shows up even more imperfections, and this Ultra HD foundation is said to blur them out basically. Okay, so that's the kind of the sciencey bit. It's brilliant. It's really, really good. I really like it. It's lightweight on the skin. It gives a flawless finish. It's got medium to full coverage, probably more on a full medium side. It is expensive. I think it's €43, but you genuinely only need a little bit because I went in, I kept going around. I couldn't decide on what colour I was. So I kept going around to Sephora's and getting different samples. I swear to God, I must have got about 10 samples to the point where I haven't had to actually open this one just yet. I had so many samples. But I made the mistake of dipping my brush in and putting loads on at first, and then it kind of made you look like you had a mask on. So you only need a tiny, tiny amount of this. I will do a full review on this soon because, as I said, this is available in Makeup Forever on Clarendon Street, but I really like it. They have a phenomenal, phenomenal shade range. It is really, really, really nice, and it suits probably slightly oily, slightly dry skin too. Got one more purchase, and while this wasn't technically a Sephora purchase, you can get it in Sephora, but I bought this in the Loop in the duty free in Dublin Airport because you can't go through Dublin Airport on your way to your holidays and not buy something. In fact, I think it's against airport law to do that. Anyway, this has been much raved about by lots and lots of bloggers, and it is the Clarins Instant Concealer, and I got it in #1. And again, this is another product that while I've tried it a few times, I'm not so sure about. I do think if I use it properly in Irish weather rather than Floridian weather, it will be really good because I could see the potential in it. Because I have so many concealers to try out at the moment, I just haven't given this a good run. It was €20 in Dublin Airport, and in case you didn't know, the Loop is a minimum of 15% cheaper than everywhere else, and you can order, and I should have done this because I had vouchers, you can order online before you go, and you can collect it either on your way out, on your way back. And my brother is coming home in September, and I'm going to actually order the Tom Ford Neroli Portofino because it was like $200 and something out in the States, and it was like 100, I'm going to say €20 or something like that. I remember there was quite a lot difference. It was from the Dublin Airport price to the Sephora price. Okay. Anyway, that is my Sephora haul. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you know that this isn't like me showing off. It's just so many people were emailing me going, will you be doing a haul? I'm going to Chicago, I'm going to New York, I'm going to this, that and the other. And I was like, it might help you guys narrow stuff down that you want, because there's an awful lot of rubbish in the shops there. Like, it is really, really hard to, when you go into Sephora, there is just so much stuff that it's really hard to pick through the rubbish and what's good and what's not. But if you liked it, I would love if you could subscribe to the channel. Leave me a comment down below as to what you thought, and yeah, I will be back with part 3 of my haul, which is a pure MAC haul, and I will be back with that at some time next week. Alright guys, talk to you soon. Bye bye.